Thanks, Joe. Okay, I want to first of all welcome everyone. I want to welcome Omni, and I want to welcome the Sun and all the viewers and City TV. Is that City TV as well? Thank you for coming. I had the good fortune to receive a phone call from Omni, and by a cousin of the gentleman that I'm going to introduce, Nick Ciccioni. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And he told me about his cousin, Robin Rocca, who was in desperate need of a bone marrow transplant, and he was from St. John, New Brunswick, and that was about a couple of months ago. And since then, I've gotten to know Robin quite well. We've had many phone calls, and I found Robin to be not only a very courageous person, but a very unselfish person. And this man has just taken on something that none of us want to face, and that's the possibility of dying. Robin is suffering from leukemia, and he desperately needs a bone marrow transplant. And today we're hoping to take the opportunity to hear from Robin and his story. And we also have distinguished guests with us today. Mr. John Brownlee from the Canadian Blood Services. You're the communications director?
Yes, for One Match.
For One Match, thank you. And we also have the famous Dr. Galal with us, who's also going to share. And thank you very much for coming here. I know you're a very busy man. Also want to recognize Julie, who's in the audience, and she's Robin's girlfriend. And also the vice chairperson of Step by Step, Sabrina Kogan. And Nick, as I mentioned, is also in the audience. So I'm just going to say just a couple of real simple words, and then I'm going to turn it over to Robin, and then Robin, you can turn it over to John, and John to the doctor. What I want to say is that we've done a lot of work when it comes to organ awareness, but what we have to remember is to always mention tissues. We cannot stop at just saying organ awareness. We have to always mention tissues, because in this case it's a tissue that's needed, and far too often people are forgetting about tissues, and there's over 50 other tissues that could be donated as well. And the other thing I want to say before I pass it on over to John, this procedure of donating your bone marrow transplant does not hurt. It doesn't hurt. And with that, I want to turn it over to Robin.
Thank you, George. Prepared a little speech. I'm just going to follow through with this. Hello, Canada and everybody. My name is Robin Rocca, and I've been diagnosed with a cancer of the blood called acute myeloid leukemia this past Christmas. The past 5 months of my life have been very trying. It's been a definite physical and emotional roller coaster ride for me and my family. I traveled to Toronto from my home in St. John, New Brunswick for a mission to create awareness amongst all Canadians of the need for bone marrow stem cell donors. I need a bone marrow transplant to save my life. But I'm not the only one. There's about 750 other Canadians in my exact situation this very minute, actively searching through Canadian Blood Services One Match program, searching the registries to find a match today that will save their life. Looking back at my life, I considered myself to be invincible, as do many young, healthy Canadians. I'm 28 years old. I play sports. I'm an engineer by trade. What can I tell you? I love life. However, within a matter of days, my life turned upside down, and I had to face the blunt reality that my life is fragile, and I had to reevaluate my lifelong dreams. Most of the time, I must avoid public places now in fear of contracting something that my body cannot defend against because of my compromised immune system. I have spent much time in the hospital for chemotherapy treatments, for isolation purposes, and to receive platelet and red cell transfusions. My energy levels are normally low, with intermittent sessions of terrible pain. My sleepless and restless nights lead to anxious days of not knowing where my future lies, because a donor stem cell match may or may not be found in time to save my life. Nonetheless, I have a positive outlook, which I learned is of utmost importance when dealing with cancer. I must thank the strong support from my family and friends in helping keep my spirits up, and especially in helping raise bone marrow stem cell donation awareness nationwide and overseas and in Italy. Also, I'm truly grateful for my doctors and nurses in St. John, New Brunswick. I owe them big time for helping save my life thus far. However, this experience has taught me that only I am accountable for my life, not the hospitals. And that is why I'm here today, to spread the word of need. So, this is a very important message. I'm calling all Canadians a call to action. Please take 2 minutes of your time and visit www.onematch.ca or call 1-888 to donate and sign up to the National Bone Marrow Stem Cell Registry. Donating stem cells is easy and painless as donating blood, and the best thing is maybe you could save a life like mine. How good would that make you feel? A special thanks to George Michello and the Step by Step Foundation for giving me this opportunity to make a difference, and a special thanks to Canadian Blood Services One Match program for setting up such a wonderful program and helping raise awareness with my family and helping me find a match. I'd like to pass it over to John with One Match.
Thank you very much, Robin. Certainly, you know, speaking on behalf of One Match, I truly am honored to even sit next to you, to be with a patient that knows unequivocally what is needed from Canadians to save his life, and to make sure that his voice is heard for the other 740 or so patients currently waiting for a stem cell transplant. Just to come out and say that and to make that known to the Canadians is a huge part of what we're all about. Is we're here to serve you, Robin, to help you and your transplant center and your transplant doctor find a match. And we're hoping that people will hear this, will do exactly what you said, to go on to onematch.ca, to log on. It's very easy to do. Follow the instructions, or to call our 1-888 number and become a stem cell donor. The biggest part of this, as Dr. Glal may even elaborate on, the biggest part of this is finding your HLA match. A big part of this is also got to do with diversities and certain communities that you belong to. Right now in Canada, the registry, the One Match Stem Cell and Marrow Network, is made up of 82% Caucasian, leaving 18% within diversities, and those are many different diversities. But even if we look at the 82% Caucasian, of which Italian Canadians are centered from, or which do fall underneath, the likelihood of finding your HLA match or a stem cell match for a potential donor out there are much greater within that certain community, are much greater within your own ethnocentric community and where you come from. So certainly these are the factors that we're looking at as each individual community, including the Italian Canadian community, to really, like you say, to step up, to help someone that needs it, and you so altruistically would say, not just for me, but for those other 740 or so patients that are currently waiting. So I'm honored and totally respectful of being next to you today, Robin, and I hope that all of us together will come to that fruition.